Hello and welcome to today's episode of Beyond Magic. I'm here with a special guest. She is an angel of the mind, a mind angel who does mind angelly things. Welcome to the show, Randi. How you doing, love?
Oh, thank you. I love that. That's a great way to introduce people.
This is it. Just use this one as the mandated way that people must introduce you from now on. But if they copy my song, I will be suing them. Just saying. Everyone is tuning in today. Thanks for joining the Beyond Magic show. I'm your host, Daniel Mangena, Dreamer CEO. Randi Light is, we're both. So let me tell you how I met Randi, because everyone wants to know the story. So here's the story. So we are both ambassadors for a beautiful movement by a mutual friend, Anita Morrow, called the 1 Million Meditators Movement. And Randi and I spoke ages ago, and she told me about everything she does. I'm like, oh my God, she's amazing. I've got to get her on something. And then we got to the Beyond Magic show being here every week. I'm like, oh my God, I've got a live thing out every week. And then, as you guys know, we went through my model for reality. We went through the flow funnel. We went through Beyond Intention. And then I've had guests on over the past few weeks, taking you through some different aspects of reality creation. And when it came to looking at the mind and how we can start to use the mind to step into more of our magic, I was like, Randi, mamacita, can I get you on my show? And so Randi's not just a hypnotist, hypnotherapist, you train people to do hypnosis.
Yeah.
You introduce other modalities that give us the power to use our mind to create more kick-ass lives, right?
Yes. So that you recognize that you are the magic wand.
Get out of here. I'm the magic wand.
You're the magic wand.
Simple me. I can get down with it. Why don't you tell us a bit more about some of the stuff you do with the mind? Then I'm going to lead you into some questions. Beloved audience, welcome to the Beyond Magic show. Please say hi. Feel free to leave your comments and questions in the chat. I'm going to make sure I tag Randi on Facebook afterwards, so you guys get the chance to engage with her, connect, find out more about her work. She's got a really cool email list that sends out informative, like once a week. Do you send out an email once a week? Something like that, roundabout. And it's not one of those emails that comes in and you're like, oh my God, it's an email. It's like, oh my God, what do I get to learn this week? This is amazing. So be sure to check it out. So say hi. Let us know where you're tuning in from. How many times you've seen the Beyond Magic show, how many people you're going to share it with, and any questions that you got for Randi. So let's go for it. Tell me a bit more about your journey, your story, and how you came to connect with the power of the mind.
Well, I would say that growing up, I was a worrier, and now I like to call myself a warrior. And it took I would say I spent thousands of dollars and thousands of hours. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars and hours trying to get other people's voices out of my head, my mom's, concept of me, so that I could actually believe in myself. And what I had no idea hypnosis and hypnotherapy would be so effective at helping people to utilize the power of the mind. So I've always been an educator. So I have a master's degree in environmental education.
Okay.
And yeah, so I used to teach people how to teach and to teach them to love and care for the earth. That was my job, and it was wonderful. But always deep inside, I remember in fifth grade, when I was in fifth grade, I would go to my friend's house, and she had a brother that was autistic, and he was like, I was probably 10, he was maybe 5, and he could not talk. And I remember sometimes I would not be playing with my friends, and I'd go over and try to work with them. I'm 10 years old, and try to help him talk. I just was like, I can do this, but I knew I didn't know how. But even back then, I had that desire, that passion to help people. And now I feel like I have the tools to help people reframe what's in their head, let go of limiting beliefs, because it's all a bunch of BS, right? Bullshit and belief systems.
I love it.
And a lot of people have heard that one now, but it's great. It's true. That's a bunch of BS. Other people's BS about yourself and the world lives in your head. And it's how you show up in the world, right? And you know this just as much as probably everybody listening, but hypnosis and hypnotherapy are a way of programming and reprogramming the mind for success. And it's fascinating in the body because it's a bridge or a doorway to your subconscious. So we have access to everything that's ever happened to you, and we can program and reprogram your mind for success.
So you said that we're basically getting an invitation to recognize that we are the magic wand. What are some ways that you see people experiencing that?
Well, if you're a great manifester, right, and an intention setter, that goes both ways. But if you're purposely, let me back up. So what I mean by both ways, if you're not realizing that you're a great manifester, you can be manifesting the things you want or the things you don't want.
So not to interject, but there'll be people, for example, who tuning in live or replay. If you're on the replay, let me hear you say replay. And they could be manifesting stuff accidentally and not realize that they can actually get a grip on that and not be manifesting stuff accidentally that they don't want.
Yes, by changing what you focus on. And hypnosis is the fastest and easiest way. But the research says we have 60,000 thoughts a day. So
that's a lot of thoughts.
It's a lot of thoughts. And so what are you focusing on with your thoughts? What you want or what you don't want? And so everyone who works with me, that's one of the main things I say. Even if we don't do any hypnosis, I'm going to share this simple concept. It's kindergarten and graduate school at the same time, right? Focus on what you want instead of what you don't want, but you've got to catch yourself. So I will literally hand people a magic wand and say, what do you want? What do you want? And eventually I teach them that they can vividly imagine the end result that they want. Vividly imagine the end result with a great feeling. So if you do all that, those are 3 things. That's how you can get what you want. That's how you can deliberately, intentionally get what you want, by vividly imagining.
Did you say intention? Did you say intention?
You like that word. You wrote a whole book on it.
I see you. So looping this round to the practicality, the pragmatic, the grooviness of it, right? We can actually get what we want by using tools such as hypnosis, hypnotherapy, to access the part of us that's generating those 60,000 thoughts a day and change the quality of those and therefore the quality of our life. Am I following correctly?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, our subconscious programming, is influencing our 60,000 thoughts. But it's the subconscious that's stored everything that's ever happened to you. Right now, you're using your conscious analytical mind. All of you, you're looking and you're listening and you're analyzing what we're saying, right? And you can accept what I'm saying. Oh, that makes sense, or reject it. Oh, that she's weird, right?
That's the other kind of BS. What?
Yeah. And so it seems really important, but the research says 95% of our behaviors are subconscious. So our beliefs, how we feel when we get triggered, all stem from beliefs and programs that are stored in our subconscious mind. So that's what drives everything that we do, everything that we think, what's blocking us, what we desire, what level of financial stability we want, what level of success we want, what we feel comfortable with. It's driving everything. But we can have access it. Most people are like scared to find out what they believe, but that's like, as Louise Hay says, finding a gem, I got gems all over.
Shining. So bringing this back to center then, just so we can follow this thread.
Okay.
We are the magic wand, basically. And we have tools available to us, such as hypnosis, hypnotherapy, that will allow us to access almost the computer program, the computer system that's running our behavior 95% of the time.
Yes. And you can do it on your own. You don't need hypnosis, but what hypnosis does, hypnosis is just meditation with a goal, with a purpose. right? To make change, to heal, to release something. And so you can do it on your own, but you need to go into that alpha or theta brainwave state of hypnosis or meditation. And that's what I mean by vividly imagining.
Got it.
So when you vividly imagine the end result with a great feeling, when you combine those three, whether you're in hypnosis, you just need to be in that focused state. You need to have a state of gratitude, and you need to know the desired outcome, the end result that you want. And it can be different for everyone, even if we have the same one, but how you would view that end result. So let me give a quick example, because this is a key point here in creating and recognizing that you are the magic wand and that you can use your 60,000 thoughts. And it's such a simple little thought, but there is a Olympic runner running in the Olympics about 10, 15 years ago. And actually she's from Indiana, and I live on the southern tip of Lake Michigan in Indiana. And when she was running, she fell. And they interviewed her afterwards, and she said she'd been doing a lot of creative visualization, but she only saw herself running. She never saw herself cross that finish line. So you see what I mean?
God. So hang on. So she spent all this time visualizing, but the running, but not the finishing. And so when it came to finishing, her mind's like, oh, we're not supposed to finish, fall over. So
so it's great to picture yourself and feel what it feels like to go running, but you got to see that end result. The desired outcome is to run in the Olympics and to cross the finish line.
Wow.
So that's a simple way of helping. But I think it's Dr. Patswami said, if you hold a thought, an image, a vision for 17 seconds, it's like making a phone call to the quantum field. And it's basically, you're getting a line congruent, all parts of you, and that's how you become the magic wand, if you can focus on it for 17 seconds, but with a great feeling. Right? So, and you and I know heart math and the research behind heart math, and there's a really cool research study that I love to share that makes the point of when you get into that elevated mood of love or joy or appreciations, and you combine it with the picturing and feeling that desired outcome as if it already exists, so you're in that focused and relaxed state. When you combine all of that, that is how you make a phone call to the quantum field. That's how, of possibilities. That's how you can bring into your world, like a magnet, what you want instead of what you don't want, and be the magic wand.
So it can be just consistently, and obviously we're going to learn from our Olympic runner, seeing it all the way to the end, but spending time. 16 seconds, you said 17 seconds?
17 is the number they say.
17 seconds, and it could be plus or minus, right? But we're not talking about even 30 seconds, 60 seconds, a minute.
Yeah.
Just focused on seeing the goal from its inception through to its completion is enough to start just placing an order.
Hold on though. So
okay.
if you don't have money, or you don't have clients, or you don't have what you want, the house, whatever it is, the relationship, when you start to say and focus on what you want, a lot of people can feel bad because they don't have what they want, or they don't believe they deserve what they want, or they're not smart enough or good enough. Whatever it is that's in the subconscious program can then block them from being completely aligned and having this great feeling when they actually imagine it. So you're familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza, right?
Yep.
Yes. And so he cited the study by the Heart Math Institute. Dr. Glenn Rain did this study, and he wanted to test healers' abilities to affect on biological systems. But it makes this point really clear. So he's a major researcher out of the Institute. And so he had people who were trained in heart math in creating heart coherence, right? Are you familiar with heart? Yeah. So basically you learn how to create heart coherence, which when we go into a slower brainwave state, that's alpha and theta, and our brainwaves start to cycle slower and more similar, like flowing. And the heart, we can measure that too. We can measure the coherence of the heart. And so we can create heart coherence, which has all kinds of positive health benefits and reduces stress, balances your nervous systems. But here's the thing. So he took these people who were trained in creating heart coherence, which can be completely measured, and he had one group holding a vial of DNA and seeing if they could just get into that elevated mood of love, joy, appreciation, see if it would affect the DNA. Well, that group had no statistically significant change. So then he had another group that held a clear intention to actually wind or unwind the DNA. That group did not have any change as well. But the third group that were told to vividly imagine the DNA winding or unwinding and holding a clear intention to unwind or wind the DNA and be in that elevated mood of love or joy, appreciation. That in that case, when they had that intentional thought and an elevated mood, the DNA sometimes wound or unwound up to 25%.
Okay, I need you to send me that because I need to look at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All about intention. See if we can start showing how to level that up. So when we bring all of these pieces together, so seeing it all the way to the end, we've got that one. We want to hold the clear intention and hold the elevated emotion. Have I gotten everything? When we bring these three things together, DNA, literal DNA, what we're made up of, can change.
Right, with our mind. With our mind.
No surgical equipments, no nanotech, no robots, no aliens or special plant medicines, just this. Changing DNA, the thing that we're made up of. Get out of here, Randy. Really? A legitimate organization like Heart Math Institute, an international global institution, they've demonstrated this to be true.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
Okay, teach me stuff. Teach me, Randy. Teach me stuff. I want to change DNA and all things wonderful. Give me.
I know. And so you want to change DNA, and you're in this world and in this field where you're tapping into people who know this stuff, and so your beliefs have been changing, right? You went through a major metamorphosis, a transformation, and you used your mind to do it, right? I mean, you took other resources and tools and things, but you use the power of your mind to change. And there are people like Dr. Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lee that both healed themselves of being completely incapacitated using the power of their mind, told that they would never be able to move or walk or anything again. And they use the power of their mind to be able to be completely normal. And so I'm surrounded by all of that. Like, I read spontaneous healings. I watch people heal emotionally all the time in my office and become a better version of themselves. That's what I do. But you have to believe it, right? So you are the placebo, that book. I mean, you are the placebo, just like you are the magic wand, but if your beliefs release chemicals. If you believe something's possible for you, then it's true. But there's usually a little doubting, nagging thing that gets in the way. And you have a belief that it's possible for you, but you also have a limiting belief that kind of blocks it. And those have to, change.
So how are some of the ways that you support people then? Because I know, like I said, I know you train people to do this stuff, but you also work with people. How are some of the ways that you bring this into people's lives so that they can experience change? So
I created a system that I use with almost every client that comes to me. And then I teach that to my students. And here's my book. I don't know. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So it's for students, and it's for people who are hypnotists, but it's 4 sessions that I believe virtually every person on the planet would benefit from going through. And the first session is a foundation builder. So it builds confidence. So it teaches you how to respond resourcefully to the world. So I combine hypnosis with coaching. So I coach first, do a lot of educating so you understand how powerful your mind is and how your subconscious gets programmed. And I teach all that on the first session. And then I guide you into hypnosis so you can become that better you, and you already start to feel good after that session. People sleep better, pains go away, they feel more confident. I mean, seriously, it's amazing what can happen. But then we start to do some of the deeper work and regression to the root cause of somebody's anxiety, depression, or sleep issues, or what's driving them to overeat. And that's another session. And then there's another session where we get to the root cause of a dominant limiting belief in a different way. It's a NLP technique, but it's very effective. And all that leads up to forgiveness of self and forgiveness of others. And when you go through this process, you change, you heal, and you move forward. Whatever your goal is, your intention, we figure that out, what it is you need, what it is you want, how to get you to that next level. So whatever you come in for, there's two components. So let's say you want to overcome anxiety, or you want to be you've got money issues, whatever is going on. So we do that, but I also help you be the best version of yourself. So it's a combo. And one of my key things that I've got to say is that for anyone to work with me privately, they have to sign an agreement to stop self-criticism and become their own best friend and love themselves. They have to sign that agreement to work with me. And then we do a lot of things to help make sure they start to learn to love and accept themselves. And all that gets you to be able to new layers of things you need to release come up, and you can release them, and you get an idea of how to use the power of your mind.
Wow. That's freaking powerful.
It's powerful. It's so helpful.
What are some stories that you've seen people transcend and overcome in this time that you've been doing that?
So one of my favorite stories that I tell is I had this 20-year-old that, she was 20 years old and she had fibromyalgia. She was depressed. She had been a gymnast and she was overweight now, and she was in college and she had to quit because she was in too much pain from the fibromyalgia, and she was so depressed. So she came to me, and on that first session, the first session is confidence building, ego strengthening, it helps you respond more resourcefully to the world. And people's pains go away. In this case, it did. So before she started, I asked her on a scale of 0 through 10, 10 being extreme pain, right now, while you're just sitting here, what number would you describe your discomfort? And she said a 6. So then I took her into hypnosis, did all these things with her, helped her to feel really good. And when I took her out, her pain level was a 0.
Wait. So we got someone who was a gymnast, depressed, in pain from a physical condition, 6 out of 10. One session or more than one session?
The first session, her pain level was at a 0.
6 to 0.
And her fibromyalgia went into remission.
Wait. So not only did the pain go away, but the condition also went into remission. All because we changed what was going on with our minds.
Yep.
I think you've downplayed this mind stuff, Randy. I think you've downplayed it. I think you played it a little close to the chest. So seriously, because my mind's a little boggled here. Going into the unconscious, wiggling some things around, pain can go away, disease can go into remission, and that was session 1 of 4.
That was actually 1 of 8, but yes, and the first one.
What the dickens happened after 8 sessions with you?
People got a lot of in their heads, a lot of BS, and people come, they're addicted or insomnia. People have stuck patterns, and in my version of the world, everybody could use a coach. I mean, there's always another. I always like to say there's always another layer of the onion to peel, right? So of the different an emotion you want to clear so you don't get triggered as much. And there's always another level of confidence, of success, of joy. There's always another level to get to. We don't realize it, but as you go through life and as we get older, and I'm getting, older, I'm starting to realize that.
A final wine, Randy, a final wine.
Yes. So, I do want to say, what did I want to say about that? I don't know about her.
She went through the 8 sessions, and everyone could use a coach. And you were going in to tell us a bit more about her story.
Right. So I believe everybody could use a coach is really where I was going with that, so that you could get to that next level of joy. So you can break through whatever is in your way. I mean, we use coaches all the time. We have 60,000 thoughts. So what are we using with it? What are we saying to ourselves with our 60,000 thoughts? Are we encouraging us? Are we being our own best coach, or are we sabotaging ourselves? So I have to say this. There's research out there that says a suggestion given in a hypnotic state, even one time, can have the same effect as long-term conditioning and practice. One time.
Wow.
Like, that's a powerful and bold statement. So the thing is that, and I tell all my clients that this is what hypnosis can do, but you have 60,000 thoughts. What are you going to do when you leave my office? Are you going to reinforce? Great. You're going to reinforce that new neural pathway that that neural pathway that we just enhanced, of feeling calm and confident in control, or is the sabotaging part going to override? And that's where I encourage people to listen to the audio recording that I give them, the hypnosis audio recording, to reinforce that neural pathway so that we don't leave it for chance.
So what happens if they don't listen to that recording after?
Oh, it really depends, right? So some people are so negative. I mean, I had a lady who came in with migraines. She had migraines for 30 years.
30 years of migraines, poor love.
And on pain meds. And she'd come into my office, and within 5 minutes of being hypnotized, she would have no pain, no migraine. And it would, so I remember her telling me it lasted for 3 hours. But she did not want to work on herself. She did not want to get to the root cause of that migraine. She did not want to deal with it. If people get connected and attached sort of to their, we get addicted to our emotions. We get addicted. We become this issue that we have. It becomes our identity. And so then that also has to be dealt with. Is that?
Yeah. So basically, the unconscious thoughts that we're addressing through hypnosis may be attached to deeper views that we have of ourselves. And if we want lasting change, we need to address that too. Yeah,
there's a lot to address. People are always like, people feel better after that first session. Almost everybody, 98, 99%. I mean, literally, people come in for sleep issues. They'll come back a week later, and I'll ask them what's been going well, and they will tell me a few things, but they won't even tell me they slept great. I mean, and I have to ask, and they're like, oh yeah. Just going into the state of hypnosis can reset your systems, melt that stress. Just going into the state, let alone what we do when we get there. And I combine a bunch of techniques to help people to become their best version of themselves and heal in every way. That's whatever people come in for.
So it sounds like we're saying that it's not just sort of going in, lying down, closing your eyes. There's a whole change happening, but we access our capacity to tap that change by starting with this process of going in and talking to the mind. Am I right?
Yeah. If to do forgiveness work on your own can be very difficult. People hold a lot of resentment. And as Nelson Mandela said, resentment is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to be sick. I mean, he said it a little differently. But to do it on your own is hard. It's much easier to do it when you are being guided into a relaxed and focused state, and you've strengthened your ego. You feel more comfortable in who you are. You helped that younger you, that inner child that was wounded, heal. You let go of a limiting belief. Now we've created fertile ground for you to really do the ultimate healing of forgiving yourself and others. And when you can do that and recognize it as a practice, then you can be that magic one and you can bring it into you. Otherwise, if there's people or situations, they take up space in your head, and that's what you focus on. I hope I don't bump into them, they pop into your mind a lot, and then you sit there and you think about that instead of what you want, or about joy or being present.
I'm loving this. So we can start to make some of these changes at home, right?
Yes.
But there are parts of the experience, I guess, that you could say that we'd be better supported if we didn't try and do it by ourselves. Have I got that right?
Yeah, I encourage people to get started immediately on their own. I mean, I have audio recordings and things, and you can go to, my website and YouTube, and but if you know that you're stuck in what you've done, you've read all the books, and you're not getting somewhere, reach out, contact me or another hypnotist, because you can get to that place you want to be much faster than you ever thought possible when you ask for a little bit of help, which I used to have a hard time doing.
What are some areas that you witness that people don't manage to maybe get as good a benefit or a payoff from doing this work? Is that
well,
okay?
like that woman who with the migraines. Right now I am working with so many college kids that are anxious and depressed. I have more college kids right now than adults, and they're just anxious, depressed, but it starts to lift. So I'm going to do the opposite of what you just asked. I'm going to share some of the it starts to lift. They start to be there for themselves because they recognize that what they believe now or what they're thinking now is also connected to really something that happened in the past. And now they're older and wiser. And so many, even kids in their 20s, they're so concerned about each thing. And it's like the rest of their life instead of a chapter in a book. But the miracles can take place for real. I have over 90% success rate with overcoming anxiety and depression and chronic pain, and creating peak performance in people. So what blocks people is if they don't feel they're worthy.
I was going to say what the blocks.
Yeah. Very few people, I like to say, very few people escape childhood with the belief that they're good enough.
Wow.
So one of my favorite things that I learned that I'll share with you, and I share it with everyone now that I learned it recently, and I've been doing it, I'll do it so when you're waking up in the morning and when you go to sleep at night, you go through the brainwave states of hypnosis, which, remember, you're much more suggestible. So that's the time to vividly imagine that end result that you want with a great feeling. Well, if you wake up in the morning and as soon as your eyes come to consciousness, if you put your hands on your heart, or at least one, and say good morning to yourself, like literally, good morning, Dan, I love you. Good morning, Randy, I love you. Whether you say it out loud or to yourself, and you put your hands on your heart, it's a whole different morning. And you're there for yourself. You've got your back. And then you can set an intention if you want, and that's a great idea, or state some affirmations. But if you just take a moment every morning to put your hands on your heart and say, good morning, Randy, I love you, and say that to yourself, you release chemicals that start to make you feel good. And then when you feel good, that's when you want to visualize and materialize.
So a nugget that people can take away is just taking a couple of minutes, or we're not even talking a couple of minutes, just stopping and saying, hey, I love you, good morning, hands on heart, and just tune in.
Yes, that's a simple thing, and you want to do that for a little while. I love doing a gratitude process as well. Those are things you can do on your own. Doing self-hypnosis or meditation, there are tons of free hypnosis meditations and that you can do to help you. But you can learn to recognize when you have a limiting belief and then do what you can to change it. And if you can't, reach out to a coach, a hypnotist, to someone who does work with the subconscious programs. That somebody who's not just necessarily talk therapy, because we want to do something that makes change in the subconscious mind. Because when you get the subconscious and conscious working together, that's how change takes place. I mean, the money, there are so many success stories, and you just have to, so like, for example, I did this, I'm going to tell two stories real quick. So I did free hypnosis meditations, and So they came, and it was a group session, and two people who were there, they were a mother and daughter. In the morning, they both were late for work, and they both ended up calling me and said, "Oh my God, we slept." They both separately said, "We slept. We haven't slept well in, I don't know how long it was, years." And they both slept so well that they both started coming to me privately, and yeah, they couldn't believe it. They were, and then one of them was, unfortunately getting diagnosed with MS while we were working together. But you know what? Everyone kept telling her, "You look so peaceful. What are you doing? You look so peaceful." I had a woman who came to me who she kept getting into fight or flight because her mother would go in and out of intensive care and had a stroke and all these different problems. And so she came, we did that first session. The next day, her mother had to go back into intensive care. She was so different. She said she was calm. She handled it in a completely different way. And we know how much better that is for you, not just personally, but in your body. It makes your body feel so much better, because stress can kill.
Yeah. So I want to come, because there's just so much yumminess here. So you nailed it there. Most people don't come out of childhood thinking that they're good enough. So then those 60,000 thoughts that they're having every day are going to be based in that narrative that they're not good enough. And they're going to be creating their reality from that space. But we are our own magic wand. We do have resources that we can use to go in and change that relationship that's going on unconsciously, and therefore the thoughts. And a simple way that we can start doing that is by connecting with being good enough through just sending ourselves some love in the morning and saying good morning with a hand on our heart.
That's a great beginning. And you become a thought detective. Notice. You want to observe.
I remember you said about this one. I remember this one, thought detective.
Yeah, become a thought detective. Notice when you're thinking negatively, and you got to change it. My favorite thing also, besides focus on what you want instead of what you don't want, is to ask yourself the resourceful question, well, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? Now, that can be for major problems, but it can be for everyday life, not even just a challenge. But what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? I mean, we're here to learn, to grow, to experience joy. What can I learn? You have the ability to change your state. So that's what you can do with your thoughts. You can change your state. But to be consistent about it, you've got to decide that's what you want. And vividly imagine the end result with a great feeling.
But it does come down to starting our day the way that we mean to go on. I know it's like one of those cliches, start your day the way you mean to go on. But it does really set us up to go in and actually have a more empowering day. And or should I say, once you've taken the time to start doing that personal work, then you can step out and maybe get some support to go a bit deeper. Am I following the path correctly?
Yes.
And really, regardless of what someone's going through, then there is still hope for them to get some support with chronic pain, with all these things that we've been told, generally speaking, we don't have them, it's not something we can get beyond. We can actually be our own magic wand, or even get a little support from a secondary magic wand like you, and actually start to create some change around it.
Yes, totally. People do not have to live in fear and anxiety and depression. We create a recipe for overwhelm with our 60,000 thoughts. We think we're okay with A or B or C, but as soon as D happens, we draw a conclusion that we're not going to be okay. We'll not get it done. And you're not being there for yourself. You don't have your back. Have your back. You got to have your back.
So let's start to loop this into those that are, made some notes. They're ready to start moving on from independent stuff, or, they want to make some notes for what to go next. What are some of the ways? Does this have to happen in your office? Can people work with you remotely? I mean, it's a new world order right now.
Yeah, I've always worked remotely, not only, but for years, because I've, travel and meet people and go to conferences and present, and you meet other people. So I've always been on Zoom and Skype, but now I'm seeing most of my clients on Zoom, and it's sometimes even more, more successful, better results, because people get to relax on a new level. People are hesitant, some are, but they, after I explain it to them, and so it works wonderfully well on Zoom, because you can do it in the comfort of your own room, and you relax and get to another level of success, of joy, whatever that means to you. So people can reach out to me. If they go to my website, if you just Google my name, Randi Light, with
Randi Light.
Yes, Light. Yeah, randilighthypnosis.com. But if you just
we'll tag you as well, so people can connect with you here on Facebook as well.
Yeah, so people can experience this, or if people, there are so many people right now wanting to get trained in new things, because you can make money doing things online right now. That's a good time in our culture, and help people. These are the fastest, most effective tools I've ever found. So that's why I love teaching my basic hypnotherapy and advanced hypnotherapy. And I've got students right now that I see every Tuesday of 4 hours, and then I have like at your own pace, so you can get that, and then you watch the modules and send me an email of your homework, and then we meet, and so I keep up with what's going on and what you're doing, and we have coaching calls. So you can do it even on your own, at your own pace, or do it with me, live in it online. So there's two factors. You can just actually become a hypnotist if you want to help other people in this way, or if you want to help yourself. So go to randilighthypnosis.com. It's all there. And there's a free audio, there's a free coaching call, and then there's some things you can buy as well.
Amazing. So guys, you heard it here first. Those 60,000 thoughts that are going on from your unconscious mind every day can actually be redirected to be more positive, uplifting. You can go in there and be free of the mucky, icky, non-sleepy, painy, anxiety, depression stuff. It is possible. Randi, you've been an absolute joy. Thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with me today. My mind's blown. Loads of new stuff. I'm going to apply some thoughts to it. Guys, head over to Randi Light Hypnosis.
Randi Light Hypnosis.
Randi Light Hypnosis. That's Randi, Randi. We'll put the link in there for you. I want to see you guys going and grabbing the free. You got free hypnosis on there that people can download.
There is free audio and a free coaching call.
Love it. Go and get it for yourselves, guys. Start stepping into allowing your mind to support you in creating something new. I'm going to be back next week. Who knows what's going to happen? It's a crazy new world. Who knows? Is the internet going to be here next week? Who knows? But what I do know is that I love you guys dearly. It's an absolute joy to hang out with you. Thank you, Randi, again for coming and being my guest. If you know somebody that's going through one of these challenges, connect them with Randi. Maybe send them this video so that they can get some of this goodies for themselves. Here the same time next week, 7 o'clock Eastern time on a Friday, which is in the morning for Team Aussie or New Zealand or the other side of the world. Who knows what's going on? What I know is this: you can consciously choose a more abundant, joyful, purpose-driven life, and these tools can support you in doing so. Randi's proving it every day, and she's made herself available to support you. So bye for now, and keep dreaming with your eyes open.